to the races. Here we go. Melissa, let's play a guessing game right off the top.
Okay.
Here's the soda that I'm about to drink this time. Do you remember? I named all of the flavors of the soda.
You did.
Back when I first had them. Do you remember them? And what flavor do you think this is? For the audio listeners, this is a like bright green soda. Not as like toxic as Mountain Dew appears to be. It's not that like neon ooze, but it is like a solid like bright green, like a regular green.
Yeah, it's a Slimer. It's an Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
I don't totally remember, but I'm going to guess this is a sour apple.
Interesting. It is not a sour apple.
Oh, what other things are green? Slime. It's slime flavored.
This one is, that would be an interesting, like slime flavored soda. What does that taste like? No, this is a strawberry kiwi breeze.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it's
kiwis are not that green though.
With BREESE. So I don't know if that's somehow the name of the brand. So there's also no brand name on this soda. It's just like strawberry kiwi breeze.
Breeze.
Yeah, BREESE. And then there's the word Excel.
The British spelling.
Yeah, there's the word
Excel brand sodas. I've heard of those.
It?
Yeah.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yes.
See, I did not know that. We'll have to look them up. Let me see here. I am opening up my strawberry kiwi.
You open up the soda. I'm going to look at the other ones. Plan your tour today at Illinois Tourism.
Oh, Illinois.
Oh, yeah, I've seen these around.
Okay.
I've seen the black cherry. I've seen the red cream. I've seen ski.
Let me look these up. So I just had my first sip of it. That was very good. Very delightful.
Excellent.
Very refreshing. It is. I feel like the strawberry is the more overwhelming flavor, but it has that like aftertaste of the kiwi to kind of wash it down, and that works really well. They're
the best of friends.
They are. Excel.
I think it's funny when people say a soda is refreshing, because I'm trying to imagine the opposite, where you drink a soda and then immediately you're like, I need to go to bed. I'm tired. I feel downtrodden.
Melissa, remember like hard Mountain Dew?
That did make me want to go to bed. That's true.
Right. Yeah. Alcohol can make you sleepy. Okay, let's get their website up here.
When one of my cousins was little, he wanted to drink Mountain Dew and his parents wouldn't let him until he turned like a certain age. Like he had to be like 12 before he could have a Mountain Dew. And when he was a kid, he called it wake up soda.
Son, you're a man now. You can have a Mountain Dew.
You can have your wake up soda to get all the energy up before you go to social studies class, before they have anything more specific to call it, just social studies.
Right, exactly. I am looking at the Excel website here. If you're watching the YouTube version, I have this pulled up here too. Ooh, that's not a good look for their typography with that strawberry kiwi berries and that lonesome Y just down there by itself. Ooh, not good. Their website is, besides some smaller stuff like that, I actually kind of like the idea of their website here. It just has a picture of like all these different bottles of all of their different flavored sodas. They have one called $1 Million Grape and $1 Million Strawberry. Blueberry
I gotta experience this. What is $1 Million Grape?
I don't know. They have one just called Rummy.
How much is the regular grape we've been drinking? How much is Fanta grape? How many dollars is that?
I don't know. Do I drink one of these and be like, man, tastes like $1 million? Right.
I'm going to have to test these. I'm going to have to get a regular grape and $1 million grape, and then set the price at $1 million, and then I have to tell you how many dollars every other grape is.
Right. I would be interested in this rummy. They have one here called R Pep. Just
I've had R Pep.
R-Pep. I'm assuming that's their like Dr. Pepper knockoff.
Yeah.
But yeah. Interesting. And then they have these ones called Ski. They have Ski Original and Cherry Ski.
Yeah, that's their lemon lime.
Interesting. Okay.
Ski.
And Lucky Club Cola, guilt-free Lucky Club. So if I have a regular Lucky Club soda, am I supposed to feel guilty about it? Because they also have a guilt-free Lucky Club soda.
Oh, yeah. I don't like that dichotomy of guilt or no guilt.
That has to be the one. You have a Lucky Club soda and you're like, you know what? Time for bed. I'll go
to bed with my shame.
Go to bed. Yeah.
I got to sleep this off.
Exactly. Well, there you go. I am sipping on my strawberry kiwi berries for this episode of the podcast. The podcast being the Whatnauts Captain's Log. This is episode 214. And of course, every week here on the Captain's Log, we thirst for the taste of legend. My name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined by Melissa Wilkinson. Melissa, how's it going?
Hello. It's good. I saw my mom earlier tonight, and we were talking about Thanksgiving preparations. And she's like, well, I bought a bunch of potatoes if you want mashed potatoes. But if you don't, that's okay. I've got another event where I need to take a potato thing. She says, your dad and I are taking potato skins to the longest house.
The longest house.
The longest house. And apparently that is the surname of their friends they are going to visit. This woman's name is like Kim Longest or something like that.
Interesting.
But for a second, it was such a House of Leaves moment. Like my parents are going to some sort of non-Euclidean infinite house. And there's like a party there where you bring potato skins. Just everybody gather around. There's a bonfire. We're watching football at the longest house.
There's a video game that I played a couple years ago called Control.
Yes.
And I love that game. It is fantastic. And you end up working for this like department of the government that is all about these like weird supernatural occurrences and objects of power and stuff like that. But they work in this just gigantic big concrete building. When the game came out, all the reviewers online were throwing around the word brutalist, because when they looked up the architecture, that is the style of architecture, and everyone thought they were so cool that they knew the word brutalist architecture. But they called their building the oldest house. It's like the longest house also has that like weird like cryptid feeling to it. Like it's a bad omen. Like, ooh, you saw the longest house? Wow, man. Sucks for you.
You know what that portends.
Right, yeah. Oh, we got to get out of here now. Interesting. The longest house. Okay.
This makes me want to see a movie about a House of Leaves type geographical architectural terror of a house, but you are trying to throw a party there. I want it to be part house party, part House of Leaves.
Right. There has to be some movies out there with that kind of thing in it, just like some house with some like weird geographical oddity. It like is there a House of Leaves movie, something based off of it?
Leaves, like this is partially what Barbarian is. I'll tell you that much.
Okay. Here we have from reddit.com. I'm looking for a horror film like the book House of Leaves, or more specifically, movies like The Navidson Record within House of Leaves. I'm looking for a horror film about impossible architecture, massive or tiny spaces that expand and contract at will. Where are the blah, 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 blah? Some films that approach this, of course, is the Blair Witch, Yellow Brick Road. Both do this as well, but with forests and outdoor spaces. While Grave Encounters get massive and ever-changing interiors right, it is hurt by the ghost and constant jump scares. Any ideas? And then a couple of the responses are like, as above, so below.
Okay. That's about crypts.
Beyond the Walls, which is on Shudder, Crimson Peak.
Okay. I don't know if there's anything about the house that's weird in that movie. I'd have to watch it again. I feel like the house was creepy, but itself not a threat. There's just like holes in it. Like just the roof caved in and it snows inside. And Jessica Chastain and Tom Hiddleston are like, well, we still live here. It's our house. It's full of snow. Come here. Please marry into our family. Bring us your money. And maybe the house won't be full of snow anymore, huh?
Interesting.
We have ghosts.
Someone else says Rose Red, though they say there are some ghosts, but the house is the best/scariest character.
Interesting. Stephen King's TV miniseries, Rose Red.
The Shining is on there. 1408. I think that's about the hotel,
yes.
right?
Bunch of kings in a row.
Yeah. There's one called Neighbor, which they say is a Dutch movie, has exactly that. Someone else says The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Holstenwall. I don't know. Probably the only fictitious town whose architecture alone is a horror incarnate. All the buildings are crooked and the shadows are painted on the ground. And then someone else says Suspiria. Interesting.
Is that movie called Neighbor or The Neighbor? I'm trying to find it.
On the Reddit post, they just say Neighbor.
Okay, well, Neighbor. I googled neighbor movie horror.
I would look up.
Do these
Dutch
names look Danish?
Movie.
Yeah, I'll find it.
Neighbor.
I'm just gonna go look up weird house movies some night. It's one of my favorite types of films.
Interesting. This thread seems to be plenty long. So if you're looking for some interesting horror movie recommendations about weird architecture.
But still, do any of these people bring potato skins there? That's the mood I want.
I don't know. Right?
I want Super Bowl party in a haunted house that's going to devour us.
I mean, Casper? Kind of, right?
I guess. There's a lot of food in Casper. The ghost
party at the house, though.
That party at the end of the movie is so weird because there's... Like, she goes to school and they're like, we can't have it in the gym. Gym's being like cleaned of asbestos. So one girl's like, we'll have it at my house. And somebody's like, Kat's house is big and weird. And the teacher's like, all right, do we want to have it at Kat's house? We're doing it at Kat's house. And it's not, one teacher is deciding this.
Right. Yeah.
And then later at the end of the movie, like the entire school shows up and they show up like when it's about to start. There's no setup. Like, they show up immediately, the entire group, all of them, teacher and students, all in these
the same time.
Generic non-IP specific costumes, except for the one Fred Flintstone. That's like the one IP character in that entire group. I need to find if somebody has written an entire article breaking down every costume at the Halloween dance at the end of Casper, because I find those fascinating.
That's so funny. Melissa, last week.
Yeah.
You were about to tell a story here on the podcast, and we never got to it.
Never.
Jim the Wonder Dog. What is up with this Wonder Dog here?
Never is such a dramatic word to use for a podcast episode that's approximately 75 minutes in length.
Right.
Okay. So last week at trivia, there was a question about Texas apparently as a state small mammal and a state large mammal, which I think were a longhorn bull and maybe an armadillo of some kind.
Okay.
So I looked up, does Missouri do this also? Does my home state have multiple mammals of different sizes? The Missouri state animal, just animal in general, that's a mule, the stubborn mule, a classic Missouri symbol. You know, we got our bird. What is this? The bluebird? Eastern bluebird. See, it's stuff I'm familiar with, stuff I remember from school. And I scroll down. We have a state wonder dog.
A state wonder dog.
Jim the Wonder Dog. Buckle up. In 2017, the General Assembly designated Jim the Wonder Dog Missouri's official state wonder dog. A Llewellyn setter born in 1925, Jim first gained notoriety for his hunting prowess. Legend has it that he tracked over 5,000 birds, a total no other dog has ever achieved. No citation on that fact. Just telling me no other dog. Owner Sam Van Arsdale also noticed Jim exhibited a wide range of talents not typically associated with dogs. He could identify a car on the street if told the license plate number, recognize unknown people in a crowd if given a description, and carry out almost any instruction, whether spoken or written, in English or another language, by Morse code and even shorthand.
What? I don't believe this.
Jim even had psychic powers, correctly predicting the predicting the gender of unborn babies and 7 Kentucky Derby winners. Not suffering from stage fright, he performed before the Missouri legislature and the University of Missouri's students and faculty. Jim passed away in 1937 and is buried in Marshall, Missouri Ridge Park Cemetery, where caretakers say his grave is one of the most visited. That's the tale. Now, I remind you, this dog lived from 1925 to 1937, but it was in 2017 that the General Assembly of Missouri is like, y'all heard about this dog? He was definitely psychic. There's nothing on the page saying he wasn't psychic. I think he's our state wonder dog. It's so funny. It's the most, maybe that's the point of the thing. It is the state wonder dog, not the state fact dog. This is all tall tales.
I wonder if this actually happened.
Right. These are the tallest tales I've ever seen. There's blatant facts with like no citation, no like scientific rigor as to how many birds a dog can track and why nobody has done more than Jim. And I need to learn so much more. So I just needed to share with you that I learned suddenly here in 2022. They didn't teach us this in school about Jim the Wonder Dog. Does your state have a wonder dog? What's the weirdest state thing that Oklahoma has? So
while you were talking about that, I looked like, what's our state animal? And I found okhistory.org/learn/symbols. I'll pull it up here on screen, and it has all of our, like, here's our state bird, here's our state flower, here's our state animal, all of that stuff. There's some interesting stuff in here, so it's up on screen. There's our little state flag, the great seal of the state of Oklahoma. Our animal is an American buffalo. That's
majestic
animal. Yeah. Our state fur bearer is the raccoon. I don't know what a fur bearer even means, but I
guess an animal from which fur is obtained for hats.
I guess
that's puzzling.
Our state game animal is the white-tailed deer.
Okay.
We have some horse stuff here. The state pets are rescue animals. Our state bird is the scissor-tailed flycatcher.
Now that one I know.
I don't know anything about birds. The scissor-tail flycatcher was named the state bird in 1951. The bird has a mostly gray body with a white breast and a distinctive forked tail. which can grow up to 9 inches long. There you
wow.
go.
Hold on. Your state vegetable is a watermelon?
Let's go down here. We also have a state amphibian, the bullfrog. Let me get there. The state fruit is a strawberry, and yeah, the state vegetable is a watermelon, and was adopted as such in 2007, according to a 2007 fiscal impact statement. Oklahoma produced more than 77 million pounds of watermelon in the previous year.
But no facts about how a watermelon is a vegetable. You have to tell us these. State symbol web pages. We need more facts.
Is
watermelon vegetable? Question mark?
Melon. Yeah, is a watermelon a vegetable? I'm looking this up right now. Google says no. Google says it's a fruit. That's what I believed it to be.
What's up over there?
So here's an article from the Huffington Post that says, is watermelon a fruit or a vegetable? It depends on who you ask. It's the official state vegetable of Oklahoma. This is written by Julie R. Thompson. This was from back in 2016. Says, unofficially speaking, the watermelon is everyone's favorite summer fruit because it's made up of over 90% water. It's guaranteed to refresh on the hottest of days. We add it to our salads, blend it into our cocktails, and eat it by the pound. But this beloved sweet pink fruit has some identity confusion. Some folks refer to it as a vegetable, and some are steadfast in its designation as a fruit. So who's right? Let's see here. Fruit because it develops from the plant's ovary after flowering and holds the seeds. A vegetable is anything eaten from other parts of a plant, like spinach leaves or carrots, which are roots. But if you ask anyone in Oklahoma, they'll tell you it's a vegetable. The state even declared it's the state vegetable. How did they come to see watermelon as a vegetable? The watermelon is a member of the cucumber family, known as the Cucurbitaceae, which includes gourds as well. They're grown like vegetable crop using vegetable production systems, and they are generally treated as a vegetable for culinary uses. So even if the watermelon is mostly eaten as a fruit, it got lumped in with vegetables in some circles of thought. Interesting. There is no.
I kept
black
scrolling
or white
down. It's a vegetable. It's a vegetable, whatever. We have to move on to something else. I kept scrolling down this page of Oklahoma symbols.
Yes.
State drink, milk.
Yep.
No further text or information. There's like it says SCR2 1985, which is just some sort of like a legal code number. State drink, milk. We decided that in 1985. You don't get more information. We're not explaining this to you.
Like,
it's just milk.
What building do I have to go to and be like, I want to see SCR2 from 1985, and they can produce a copy of SCR2.
I need to see this on paper. I need to know who signed off on milk being the state. Not a bad state drink. It's just so funny to me that they're like, I don't know, it's milk. You know what it is. We don't have to write anything else on this webpage. We're done. Milk.
Right. The state meal is chicken fried steak, barbecued pork, fried okra, squash, cornbread, grits, corn, sausage with gravy and biscuits, black-eyed peas, strawberries, and pecan pie. Now, keep in mind, that's all a single meal.
You're part of a balanced breakfast. Missouri doesn't have an entire meal. Our state dessert is the ice cream cone because it was invented here in 1904. Hometown pride.
There you go. Our state poem is called Howdy, Folks. By David Randolph
welcoming.
Milston. Let's see what this poem is. We get, oh, here it goes. It says, I'll read a little small bit here. It says, well, here goes some scribbling that's a little past due, but I reckon I'm always a thinking about you. That's
a Hallmark card.
I've been reading the papers in my own little way, and I see where you messed up my last birthday. Though divine television, I caught the dedication. Oh, through divine television, I caught the dedication and heard some tributes by a mighty swell nation. Now there's a powerful, nice shack you built on the hill, but that's just like the Sooners. It gives them a thrill. That's only the first little stanza thing there.
It goes on for a long, long time.
There's like 5 or 6 of them there, you know?
Quite an extensive howdy. Also, your state rock song is Do You Realize by the Flaming Lips, and that's pretty rad.
Yeah. Yeah, though it said, didn't that one say it expired in 2011?
Yeah, put it back up there. What have you been doing for the last 11 years? You didn't renew. Do you realize? You didn't tell us anything about the milk.
Do you realize it expired?
It's its own living reminder.
Anyways. Yeah, we don't have a Jim the Wonder Dog, though. Let me scroll back up to the top here. Anything
You've got general animals, but you don't have like narrative specific animals. We also have a state historical dog named Old Drum, who like he was shot and then he was part of this big legal battle as to like, all right, who was responsible for shooting him? And it happened like with whose gun and who paid the guy to do it and on whose land. A giant like legal kerfuffle. There are apparently like mini trials about Old Drum. And apparently the Animal Planet Network even produced The Trial of Old Drum, a made-for-television movie loosely based on the case that first aired in 2000, starring Scott Bakula and Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman. Oh, my God.
Yeah. I know. That's prestigious.
There you go. Interesting. Good on you over there. Your Jim the Wonder Dogs, your
right.
fancy documentary remakes. Whatever it is.
We don't even have a general dog. We don't even have like a state dog as like an overall breed that we like. We've got one that was a psychic and then one that was murdered, and Scott Bakula made a movie about him.
I had a friend of mine in elementary school get this little like Jack Russell Terrier when he was, I don't know, 4th grade, 5th grade, something like that. And they tried all kinds of like training stuff, and the dog just wasn't really listening. And so they ended up hiring a pet psychic to like try and communicate with the dog. I'm by the story, and like it's not just my friend that told this story. It was his parents that told this story. So that, in my mind, like lends it some more credibility to be like, if it was just my friend in 4th grade, right? I could see it's that like playground recess. He's just making up some stuff, right? But they hired this pet psychic. And the psychic said that in your dog's past life, it was Hitler. That is what the pet psychic said. Like you're like Hitler reincarnated into this dog.
I don't know what that means. Is it good or bad to be reincarnated as a Jack Russell Terrier? Is that what you want? Is that punishment? Like cosmically, what does that mean?
It means he's probably cuter. I don't know, but no one wants Hitler. No one wants a Hitler dog, right? Like right.
Like you can tell me,
you're thing of like, first of all, you hired a dog psychic. What were you guys thinking? Like, were you hiring this guy as like a last resort? Like, this dog is a nightmare. Like, I don't know. Or was it just like
call the psychic?
Or was it just like, hey, I found a pet psychic in the phone book. Do you guys want to just like test it out and see? Right? Like that seems like something you could do just to see how fun it would be, right? Just like, what is he gonna say?
Did they keep the dog?
They did.
Because I can't. Okay. How did the dog behave? Did it improve? Do you know?
I don't really know much about the dog beyond that.
What was the dog's name?
I don't remember at all. Hitler Jr. No, I'm kidding.
I can't. If a pet psychic told you that your dog was the reincarnation of Hitler, I don't know how you would keep it. But also, I don't know how you would give it away.
Right. I don't know how they're not like that dog like wasn't famous. Right. Like, it's like, oh, well,
I guess it wasn't.
The pet psychic said this dog is Hitler. So, hey, Caesar Milan, we need your help. Like, we need you to speak some sense into Hitler here. Yeah.
Like, was that peer review? Did they ask another psychic? Like, okay, let's see if another guy says our dog is Hitler.
Right. Like, that's I don't know like how many of them are there. Like, if they called someone else, is the circle of pet psychics so small that all of the pet psychics now know that you already called one of them? And so if you're going for a second opinion, like, what is that said? Do you not like that guy? He's my friend. Like,
right.
Right? Like, I don't know.
It has to be a double-blind anonymous peer review of if this dog is Hitler.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
How many dogs are reincarnations of like famous historical figures?
I feel like a good number of them would be. If that's a thing.
Like, what if I got a dog and the dog was Mary Todd Lincoln? Then what do I do?
I guess you're just stuck with like Mary Todd, right?
Like, how many dogs are reincarnations of other dogs, and how many dogs are reincarnations of humans? And can a dog be a reincarnation of something like the American water buffalo? Can anything be anything?
Right, yeah.
What are the rules?
Who knows? It's a mystery. There's all sorts of stuff here. I say we take a quick break for some housekeeping. And then when we get back here, I think you have a quick Beanie Baby update from the ones you bought last week. And then we want to kind of take a bit of a look back on Phase 4 of Marvel. So we will be right back. We put a lot of hard work into the shows that we make, and yes, we make multiple different shows here at the Whatnauts, and we'd love it if you check them all out. You can find out more information on our website at thewhatnauts.com, as well as your favorite podcasting platform of choice. When you type in the Whatnauts, all of our shows will pop up right there. Just don't forget to give us a nice rating and review if you like the shows. If you want to support what we do here at The Whatnauts, patreon.com/thewhatnauts is the best place to do that. You can support us for as little as $1 a month. You can get all kinds of exclusive content at the $3 tier. You can also get a shout out and a thank you on all of our shows at the $5 tier. You can support us on Twitch by subscribing to our channel at twitch.tv/thewhatnauts, and we would love to have you all join us for our live streams and talk with us in the chat. And lastly, we have merch. If you'd like to grab yourself a shirt or a sweatshirt or a mug or something else, go to thewhatnauts.com/store to pick up some merch today. And we are back. A big shout out to all of our Patreon supporters. Thank you so much. It means a lot. We appreciate it. Cool things that we've been up to here at the Whatnauts. Of course, last week here on the Captain's Log, we were reminiscing about some Beanie Babies, which we'll get back to in just a sec. On the review show, this week, we are reading a comic book by Karen Gillan called Die. It is they describe it as goth Jumanji. I have read the first volume of it so far, and I would say that's a pretty apt description for just a real quick,
Not bad.
Not bad, yeah. So be on the lookout for all of that. I have heard great things about that book. And on the Reactor Core, next week is the finale for Andor. So be on the lookout for all of that. I know Ignacio and myself are looking forward to that one. That show has been phenomenal. Next week here for the Captain's Log, though, we are taking the week off. So keep that in mind. It is Thanksgiving week next week, and I have parents coming into town. Wednesday is going to be hard for me to record. I'm already trying to squeeze in the Andor finale stuff that day, despite all of my plans and stuff like that. It's just, there's a lot going on. So we will be back in 2 weeks here for the Captain's Log. So just keep that in mind. The review show is trucking along as normal. And I think I guess that brings me to my next bit of kind of housekeeping, but also I wanted to mention this on the podcast too. 1899 is out tomorrow on Netflix. Yeah. We've been super excited about this show. I don't remember off the top of my, I know I could look it up. I think it's like 10 episodes for the thing. I don't know. Do you want to do sometime this weekend? Do you want to do a reaction on like the first 3 episodes as a good, like, can we just see what that's like? Is that we could do that like Sunday afternoon?
Yeah. I'll have time on Sunday. Yes, I can record on Sunday. Let's say at least 3 episodes. We'll see where both of us are by then. If both of us happen to have watched 5, we'll talk about 5.
Because I feel like we could do a first 3 this weekend and then say like we'd be back in a week and no, because I still can't really record that weekend. I know we're moving things around for the review show behind the scenes. We'll have to figure it out because
we will.
Do we know how many episodes there are? Let me see. 1899.
Yeah, we don't know.
They have a Wikipedia page. Yes, they do. Here it is.
How long are they?
Episodes.
Are they like 45 minutes or like whole meaty 60 minutes?
Oh, it says 8. 8 episodes.
8.
So maybe you want to just do the first 2 instead? And then, we'll
see. We'll see. Let's both watch 2 episodes and then we'll see how we feel about watching more episodes. Sometimes you don't know until you start a show if it's like, I'm absolutely captivated, I could burn through this thing, or if it's like, I'm interested, but it's a little heavy. I need to parse this one out.
Absolutely. We'll figure it out. But yeah, we'll at least have some kind of initial reaction to that up in the next week here. So be on the lookout for all of that. That being said, Melissa, you got a Beanie Baby update.
Yes. Last week, live on the podcast, I went on Etsy and I ordered a random assortment of 10 Beanie Babies for a total of about $30, including shipping. Yeah. A fair price for Beanie Babies in today's market. And I wanted to update you on what I received.
Yeah.
So there's one. I did give one to my niece. It was a little floppy little lion.
Okay.
Just normal looking lion. And I didn't realize how many stuffed animals she has that are like new releases from the Thai company. So this floppy little lion, I think, did not impress her at all. But I still wanted her to have it.
Right.
I wanted her to have like a 90s relic from when I was a kid. But this is the rest of what I got.
Oh, I already see one that I recognize. Oh, I had him. I had that guy.
Yep.
Little monkey.
I love this gorilla. This is Congo the gorilla. I got this box when I came home from seeing Wakanda Forever. So I like this guy. It reminds me of M'Baku and the Chipari tribe. So I've got a personal connection to Congo the gorilla already.
That's cool. I like that one. That was the one I recognized.
Patty the platypus.
I saw his foot in the box. I know that one. That's the platypus one.
The platypus in its classic fuchsia color.
Yes.
I think my grandma had one of these. Somebody gave my grandma one. So this one I do remember.
I think that was also one of the ones that like McDonald's or whoever had the like minis.
Yeah, little.
Like they had one of the platypuses. Yeah.
Platypi.
Platypi.
I've got a dog whose tag is missing, so I don't know the dog's name.
That one looks familiar.
Oh, Bernie. It's on its like little back tag, the little cloth tag.
Oh, nice.
Bernie, I guess.
Yeah.
Just Bernie the Beagle.
Once again, I'm asking you for more Beanie Babies.
I've got an otter with the tag in the plastic seal. I was happy I got
like
one
I was
of those.
talking about last week. Yeah.
Little tag protector. Let's see. I didn't even pop it open. What's this guy's name? It's a very cute otter. It's holding a fish, even though the fish is just like one strip of felt.
It might
be seaweed.
Yeah. Oh.
Normally the Beanie Babies come with a little poem. This doesn't come with a poem. It just comes with like a to from label for you to give it to somebody with love. I give it to myself.
I did not say that his name was seaweed. I thought he was eating seaweed, and I said the word seaweed like a second before you said his name, so it made it look like I knew his name, but I did not. That makes
sense.
I was just like,
I guess he's eating a seaweed. When I picture an otter, I picture him like nibbling on a little fish, and I'm like, this is a very rudimentary fish. But him eating a seaweed makes more sense.
Yeah,
he is what he eats. I've got a Mexico bear, a bright red Mexico teddy bear. I've never been to Mexico. I believe I know people of Mexican heritage, but none that I know well enough that I can just give them a Beanie Baby. So I'm not quite sure where's the appropriate home for Osito.
Now you officially need to take a trip to Mexico and just leave them there. Just leave them somewhere and like hide them there. Just be like, go, you're free now. Bye, Butterfree.
I brought you to your home.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, man. I've got a non-teddy bear. I've got a little grizzly, little flat on its stomach, rug style.
Yeah.
This is Blackie the black bear. Date of birth, July 15th, 1994. I like this too.
There you go.
I've got a rhino.
Ooh, I don't think I've seen that one.
Right? This is Spike.
Wait, maybe I have. That name is the thing that rang the bell. That was it.
Spike was born August 13th, 1996.
I must have had that one then. I don't know.
And finally, I think saving the best for last, I got the rainbow chameleon.
Nice.
Right? This is Iggy the iguana, I guess, born August 12th, 1997. I have to remember its birthday. I dig this a lot. This one's really fun. Its fur is like a very soft, abstract, like not really sort of like tie-dye, just sort of mottled rainbow watercolor deal.
Yeah, it's
I'm
mostly
definitely
blue.
keeping,
But its head
all
is
over.
like
Blue, pink, different colors.
Mostly that like pinkish sand color. Interesting.
It's got like one bright yellow eye. I love that. Yeah, this was a good haul. I was happy that the cinders split up. Like, you can have half colorful animals and half like regular natural, like black, brown, gray animals. So no matter if you want them realistic or not, you can have them. So I know I definitely want to keep the iguana and the gorilla and the otter. Oh, and then I like just the black bear. And then, and the platypus. But there's like a couple of these. Like, I've got extras. I've got some around to like give to people. I'm going to share them with my roommate. We're just going to put them around our apartment.
Merry Christmas. Here's a Beanie Baby.
Right, Merry Christmas, Beanie Babies. I'm going to get some pogs next.
Right, yeah. There you go. Anyways, let's see here. So let's talk a little Marvel stuff. So we just saw Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. So I think the first thing we need to do is Yankee Goes to Hollywood.
Relax.
How would you describe Black Panther Wakanda Forever if it was a candle? What does it smell like?
First off, not even starting with scent, I want to start with the form of the candle. This is a floating candle.
Oh, okay.
We've never done a floating candle before, but I think this is one.
Getting fancy here.
Maybe it's like, and floating candles typically aren't big. They're little votives. So maybe this is like a whole fleet of little floating candles.
Sure. Okay.
I think they smell like grass and like driftwood.
I could see that. Yeah.
A beach campfire.
I like the idea of the floating candle. Because I mean, you could just shape these little candles like actual flowers, and make them have just a like kind of like, here's a floral scent, right? I was going more the route of like it could smell I say plastic because that's what I think of as the like sci-fi that's like super sleek and like white, right? You're in those like laboratory type of settings and stuff like that. But then also like motor oil, gasoline, there could be a hint of that in there. But of course, that stuff is not like actual good smells, right? So like a sea salt smell. I think
very salty,
like right by the ocean, right? So I think that driftwood and sea salt would be a good one.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty cool idea right there. But Black Panther Wakanda Forever is also the last movie in Phase 4 of Marvel's MCU, their cinematic universe. So I wanted to take at least a couple minutes here to kind of reflect, look back.
Yes.
Because I feel like there's been some ups and downs. There's been some mixed feelings of like, where are they going? What are they doing? And then there's been some people kind of really digging in and being like, I see how it connects. I see what they're doing. It's just maybe a little more subtle than like Phase 1 was back in the day when we were just like, oh my God, it's Thanos. What in the world?
Yeah, I'd have to go back and double check what the Phase 1 ended with Avengers, right?
I believe
and so then the beginning of Phase 2 would have been Iron Man 3. And I forget where the breaking point was between Phases 2 and 3. The final thing in Phase 3 was Far From Home, right?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
I think so. I'm pretty sure it was because people thought it was going to be Endgame and they're like, no, it's the Spider-Man movie after that. That's our finale, actually.
Yeah. Yes.
The final thing
that
you're
is the one
see.
Where they did. That is the thing where they did name the blip, right? They were like, let's talk. So yeah, that I think was the end of that one.
I think it's funny that the final thing that you get to see in Phase 3 is J.K. Simmons back as J. Jonah Jameson. What a capper. I think that is a good teaser of the sort of madness, I would say, of Phase 4. Phase 4, of course, had a lot of obstacles. The death of Chadwick Boseman, a worldwide pandemic that threw off a lot of filming and release schedules. They had to alter the plot of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which maybe had some sort of a bioweapon in it to begin with. So they had obstacles, and they also had new challenges that maybe I wouldn't call obstacles, like putting things out on Disney Plus. They are introducing an entirely new format of narrative. And when you look at Phase 4, like if it kicked off with Black Widow, that was just July last year. So July, August, September, October, November. So like Phase 4 lasted all of 17 months. That is not long, but they packed so much in there just with all the Disney Plus releases and, you know, having like 4 MCU movies come out last year due to all these various delays.
Right.
So it's been a weird one. And I don't know if in better circumstances it wouldn't also still be a weird one. It's in a It's in a middle stage, and I think that's okay. I definitely understand it being in a middle stage. We're after Thanos, we're gearing up towards Kang, but like the big goal isn't exactly on the horizon clearly yet. And that's fine. I'm really happy with phase 4 being the sort of in between building blocks phase. I'm happy with how much it experimented.
It's an interesting thing because on one hand, it is a continuation, right? It's not like they're restarting anything. So they are building off continued lore, but they are also still trying to kind of go back to square one in the sense that, like, okay, we've done that whole big story arc. We're now starting something new. And so it's very different of them starting something in the first place with Iron Man and Nick Fury walking out at the end there and being like, so I want to talk to you about this thing called the Avengers, right? That was like the start of something exciting. We didn't really know what that was building to or what it could build to. Man, at the end of Iron Man 1, when we got that Nick Fury end credits scene, the excitement was through the roof, but it like, there's no way I could have imagined that would kind of all culminate in Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
Like I'd be like, there's no way. Like
right.
Even if they get to do their Avengers movie, there's no way. Now we know that is possible. It might be very difficult to pull off still. I'm sure it is. But we now know that they are such a juggernaut that they can do something like that. But it also kind of takes the spectacle away from that of like, oh, now I'm expecting the like Kang dynasty thing to be massive. I don't know what it will end up being, but yeah, it's in this like weird position where it's new, but it's not, but it's not, but it's new, but it's
yeah, like phase 1 had such a clear and direct roadmap. Collect 6 Avengers, do an Avengers movie. They're going to fight Loki, who you already saw. Like, it was a fairly simple set of goals to achieve. And you're right. They were doing something nobody had really done on that scale before. And then they just kept scaling up and scaling up and scaling up until Endgame, this huge battle. Everybody comes through the portals. All your friends are here. You can't imagine anything bigger. And phase 4 has broadened the scope in terms of the multiverse. And I think a lot of other media has also helped primed us for this. I feel like Into the Spider-Verse being a mostly unrelated thing has really affected kind of what our expectations for the MCU are going forward and how wild we want it to be and how many diverse different heroes, normal and strange, are like pulled into one narrative together. Like, I don't know what they're going to surprise. This makes it sound very jaded to wonder about what it is they're going to surprise us with.
I mean, I think it's a valid question though, right? Of like, you guys did something amazing and you guys did this and kept it up for over a decade. And that's incredible. Like that, like there are some Marvel movies out there that I know are not as well liked as other movies, but even those like lesser ones aren't really lesser movies. Like they're still good movies. They're still perfectly fine. And I mean, if you don't like them, that's a-okay too. We know that, Marvel stuff or superhero stuff is not necessarily for everyone.
Yeah.
But to be able to keep that up for that long.
Yes.
And then continue to do like it's like I'm now like almost kind of skeptical of like who did they have to sacrifice to Mephisto to make all of this work?
Kevin takes his hat off and he's got like a Voldemort head on the back of his head. He's like, this is Mephisto. I carry Mephisto now. I must be his vessel for this to pay off. in May, this is going, when Guardians comes out, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, that will be 15 years of the MCU.
Holy
Iron Man
moly,
came
man.
out May 2008. Nothing.
That's wild.
Like, what goes for 15 years consistently like this? James Bond, but that's not a cohesive, continuous, serialized narrative.
That's wild. But yeah, like I think looking back on this phase in particular, some people have been confused about like what they're doing, all that stuff. I really feel like phase 4 is doing a couple things here. I think first and foremost, it is this like exhalation of like all this tension and stuff that we built up over the course of the Infinity Saga. It is this like, let's just try and reset, figure out the aftermath of what has happened. I think a question that comes up in a lot of the MCU movies and shows here in phase 4 is like, where were you when Thanos was here? Or why weren't you here? Like we're finding new characters. So there are people kind of grappling with the devastation that came with the snap, the blip, and people trying to reconcile with that. Where were you? Why didn't you help? Like all that stuff. And then I think also the way I think Black Panther Wakanda Forever is very, very, very overtly about just this sense of loss, this sense of like, hey, at the end of the day, yes, we did defeat Thanos, but at what cost, right? As the movies themselves said, right? At what cost? So yeah, they are. It is this sense of like exhalation and then regrouping. And then I think some astute viewers out there have been pointing to like the formations of new teams. A younger generation is out there.
Yes.
There are players that have kind of been behind the scenes. Now that all of these heroes are kind of out in the light and in modern day times, how does world politics start to react to all of that stuff? I was listening to a podcast today that was talking about how one of the more interesting things in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, this is not a spoiler here, but it is just how the world will react going forward, like politically. Like how will they react to what happened in that movie, politically speaking? And with movies like Thunderbolts on the way, with this the idea of Armor Wars getting its own show. We still don't know exactly what that's gonna be.
Movie now,
but we still don't know exactly what the plot is gonna be. Like it feels like, and with Secret Invasion also kind of being this political thriller thing that is like there is this like political, like what is the world politics? How are they changing and reacting to these superheroes being there? And I think that's really fascinating to watch.
Yeah.
And see. So
I think one of the themes of phase 4 has been about perspective and context. Like we are expanding the scope in various ways. We're like zooming way out with something like the Eternals, literally going to like the beginning of time and talking about how Earth is not what you think it is. Like there's a big hand in it. A guy's gonna come out.
The planet is not what you think it is. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Your timeline isn't what you think it is. Your planet isn't what you think it is. Reality isn't what you think it is. It's zooming out to let you know like how small things are. But also we've had these really tight looks in. It's not just like for everything that our big heroes do, that there are larger powers going on in the background that see what they are doing. It's not just about the reaction of cosmic forces or the TVA or world governments. It can be as small as Kamala Khan making a YouTube fan video. Like we got to zoom way out and zoom way in different ways. We had things like Rogers the Musical. And I liked getting that perspective of seeing how many different big and small shades of things we've never really seen before. How everything sort of is a chain reaction. It is an interconnected web from Kamala Khan's YouTube channel all the way up to Erisham.
Right. It's wild stuff. Do you have any movies or shows that stand out as like these were my favorites of MCU Phase 4?
I think out of the shows, it's very close between WandaVision and Loki for me. I love the sitcom hellscape aesthetic of WandaVision. I really liked really that show structurally. Great performances. Like I love like the way it dealt with the themes of grief and how you use media to and stories to help you get through hard times. Like that was the story we needed at the time when it came out in like January 2021. And that was such a lighthouse to me. I think for like decades going forward in my life, I'm going to have like weird emotional reactions to the cast of WandaVision. Like I'm going to react to Teyonah Parris as if she's a family member. Right. It was such a comfort thing to me. It was such a thing that I could fixate on. I could focus on. I had that to get me through like week to week. I had that to make me feel like in my life that sort of shrunk down into something so small. This is an area where I get to explore for like 30, 40 minutes every week. I get to go out there and like meet new people and find new things to comfort me. Like that's going to be that was an experience. That like WandaVision more than any of the other shows, I think because of what it was and when it came out, that was a real experience more than like like I can tell you like exactly, I'm always going to remember exactly what time of year and like what I was doing when WandaVision came out.
It was just so different from anything we had gotten in the MCU so far. So yeah, that one definitely stands out. I think for me, Loki is one of the first standout ones for me, especially because it took the idea of that like reveal of Thanos as the main bad guy and expanded it into a whole TV show. Like, what if that end credit scene was a whole TV show? And like that is like, yes, dig into all of that. I want to know. I want to see them break the timeline and then see the consequences of that trickle into all of their other shows and movies and stuff like that. That's really, really cool. And yeah, just that performance by Jonathan Majors was fantastic. Just so good. So good.
I think there have been moments that have come on that level. Like I think it might be like a little bit too early still to like really spoil the end of She-Hulk if anybody's out there who hasn't seen it. But there's a segment of the final episode of She-Hulk that is incredible. But I don't know if the entire thing is as good as just meeting he who remains. Loki, I think, is my favorite of all the MCU shows so far. And I think it gets up there because it was the only one that had it confirmed it was getting a season 2 when it was making season 1. And I think that really helped the pacing, like the expectation of the thing. A lot of these other shows, for as much as they've been able to give us, every finale feels like it's 10 minutes too short. It feels like there's a couple more things we like needed more answers on. We needed to spend more time with. Loki was, I think, so consistent. Aesthetically, absolutely stunning. Like the TVA is my favorite setting in the MCU. That was the first time in the MCU
architecture, right?
And infinite buildings. That is the longest house.
Yeah.
But like that's where I see myself. Like if I had to be anywhere in this universe, like I don't know if it's aspirational, but I think it's accurate to say, I work at the TVA. I'm like Casey. I don't know what a fish is. Maybe if I'm lucky, I get to be a Ravonna Renslayer.
Right, yeah.
Like I saw myself in that show a lot as an office drone.
For sure.
And
what about movies?
How about there's I would have to go back and rewatch some of them to have a real ranking. I haven't rewatched No Way Home yet. Like I only saw it that one time in theaters. I definitely would have rewatched it by now if it was as easily accessible as everything that gets to go on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
That's one of those things. It's like, this is an emotional moment, like 20 years in the making, like within and outside of the MCU. And I think that's something that a lot of us, I don't want to say we saw it coming. We were really, really hoping for it. We could see how absolutely that could be a path they were going down. And I feel like now that they did go down that path, that really does set the expectation for what they're going to do going forward. But I think they're well aware of the expectation they have set with No Way Home. I think they are going to meet and exceed that. We've had moments like that, like Black Bolt. Like, I never watched The Inhumans. Most people haven't watched The Inhumans, or if they did, then I don't think I've heard anybody. People. Right. I don't know if I've heard anybody really say anything positive. They might have fondness for those characters like in the comics, but nobody has fondness for those characters as they were shown on screen. So nobody was thinking, oh, here comes an Inhuman. And to know that it was that same guy from the show that nobody watched, they could have put anybody else in, but no, there he is. Like, that was maybe the biggest shocker I saw on screen, and it absolutely delighted me. Like, that's how deep and how specific they are going, and how they truly can pull in anybody from anywhere. Like, the fact that it's a character you don't really care about makes his inclusion way more exciting. Like, we can tell, oh, they're going to put in Wolverine. Oh, they're going to put in Doctor Doom. But the fact that they're thinking like several levels beyond that, like, no, we're putting in Black Bolt. Like, Black Bolt? Now that's really a surprise. We can't see Black Bolt coming.
Yeah, I agree. That one is, I mean, as a Spider-Man fan, that one holds a special place in my heart.
Absolutely.
Not only is it like a 20-year thing in the making for just like cinematic history, but across universes, like across iterations of Spider-Man, I had all of them. I was in the theaters going to see the Tobey Maguire ones as they came out. I was in the theaters going to see the Andrew Garfield ones as they came out. I was in the theaters going to see and just to see them all on screen was just like amazing. This is so cool.
I know, a true miracle. And it was so good to have that movie, again, speculation about that movie be something to focus on, like, during lockdown. And there were times when I was worried, like, are we overhyping this? Are we blowing this up? If it doesn't have these cameos we were hoping for, are we still going to be satisfied by what the movie is? And then they were beyond cameos. Like, they were serious parts of the story with real emotional resonance and real payoff for those characters. I'm so happy it got to be that
version of that movie, right? Where they don't pull in the other Peter Parkers, they only pull in a couple of the villains. And on top of that, there's a version of it where they just replace the actors. They say it's the same ones from those same universes. They can explain that. It would still be neat to be like, oh man, they pull up like it's a different actor, and like I guess it was a good portrayal of them. Like he did his best, Alfred Molina, and you know all that good stuff. But man, for them to just go for broke and nail it, is just something special. That's so cool,
outstanding. I really enjoyed Multiverse of Madness. I think that was so much fun. And much like having Toby back, it was great to have Sam Raimi back. I love the visual style. That cinematography might be my favorite MCU element of the things that happened in this year. Cool. Just the shots in that movie. It was such a delightful experience. And Shang-Chi was a lot of fun. Shang-Chi is so solid.
Shang-Chi was what I was about to mention as that one still, like, I think about that movie every so often. Just
me too.
Not even for like a bit, like not even in the same way that I think about Endgame or No Way Home, right? Where they are these big, like, how did you pull this off and get all these actors here and do all that? But just like, that was just a good, solid movie. Like, I like that.
Yes.
I had fun watching that. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved getting to see, again, things that were entirely new. We knew like the concept of the 10 rings and we'd seen Trevor Slattery before, but everything else in that movie new. And again, another movie about this sort of perspective shift for us in the audience, getting to know these characters we don't know. We've never seen. There have been no hints of before. But another movie where it's like, yeah, there's another realm. If you drive through this forest in the right way, you're going to go to this magical realm where there's your aunt and a bunch of dragons.
Right,
You have cool costumes. You fight more dragons. You fight your sad dad. Such a fun experience. Added so much. And I think that is my top post-credit scene of Phase 4. Is the post-credit scene in Shang-Chi, where they have the serious conversation about these bangles are calling out to something in the universe. We don't know what it is. Well, at least until we find out. You want to come do karaoke with us? The hard cut to the karaoke. That's the best post-credits moment of the phase.
So great. Loved it a lot. And then, yeah, I think last but not least for me is just Wakanda Forever.
Yes.
Being such a good film.
Yes.
Despite all of its challenges. Again, not on the same, like, it's not the end game level. It's not the, like, that stuff, but it just, man, with the tragic loss of Chadwick Boseman, that has to change everything they were thinking of, right? Like, they need to redo the script. And I know he didn't tell very many people, but word on the street is that Chadwick Boseman and Ryan Coogler talked a lot about, like, the future of the franchise and where it was going and all that stuff. I have a feeling somewhere in there he at least floated some ideas of, like, well, what if I'm not involved? Where would this go? I don't know. I all of that stuff. I want to believe, like, deep down in my heart, that, like, he at least had some, like, tried to float in some ideas. So when he did pass away, like, they weren't just like, let's scrap it or let's do right, or let's relaunch it or something. Like, they were like, no, we have a story. We're just going to make it focus more on grief and loss and all of that stuff, because life will throw that stuff at you at moments you don't expect, and you just have to kind of move on. You have to learn to deal with it and cope with it in healthy ways, and that's what the movie is about. So, yeah, that I think is a good one.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent topper to this phase. Something that was a movie that was really able to pull off something kind of impossible. Like, nobody was sure what Wakanda Forever was going to be, what it was going to look like, what it was going to feel like. And one of my favorite experiences of this year was the Comic-Con day. Like, there was a great day in general. I went to see Nope. And I went to a bakery and I got these really good cookies. And then I come home and we do those trailer reactions. And, like, that trailer, I'm still reeling months later, even after I've seen the actual film itself. That has to be one of my
highlights of Phase 4 too, is the trailer, that first official teaser for Wakanda Forever. Phenomenal.
If I have already seen the entire film and I still think about how good the trailer was, that's incredible. That's something historic. So I think about that night, like, going out to see this other movie that I really loved. That I had such a good time driving home and thinking about doing those trailer reactions with you. And we just did trailer. It was like Wakanda Forever and like a She-Hulk teaser. I don't even remember the other one we did.
Something
but
like
I
that,
didn't know everything they had announced at Comic-Con. You just sent me the links to those trailers and I hopped on. I'm like, okay, let's do these trailers. And then I'm going to watch the new Rockstar's live reaction to the panel. And you're like, oh, you don't know? Oh, you're going to have fun. Have a fun rest of your night. And
enjoy it.
Sitting there eating those cookies, eating those really good cookies and watching like the new rock stars sit there and live react to everything coming out of Hall H. There was a really special, fun night.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. Well, yeah, that is phase 4 of Marvel. Looking forward to all the stuff in phase 5. We got some stuff coming up real soon here, from Secret Invasion to Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. I think those are like the next 2 things that are coming out here.
Plus Guardians Holiday Special coming out next week, Kyle, in 9 days. We get to see our Guardians again. I get to see my Guardians again, my best friends.
Absolutely.
And then I know Secret Invasion is for, I believe it has been called Winter, but I don't know if we have an exact release date on when that's coming out. Just
I
early
think the
next
trailer
year.
had one in it. There was, I don't remember off the top of my head when that one was supposed to be, but soon-ish.
Soon, right. I'm really intrigued by what the tones in phase 5 are going to be. I feel like there was a lot of unexpected hardship and sadness affecting things in phase 4 for sure. So I wonder how they're going to deal with maybe balancing that out with more fun films, like more consciously, all right, let's bring people's spirits up after Wakanda Forever type films. Balancing that with ramping up the drama as we get further along in whatever this new multiverse saga is. I'm excited for everything. And I like the trailer for Quantumania looks so promising. That was also a wonderful trailer. When I keep thinking about that's going to be a film, and it didn't show you a lot of the film. It just showed you style. Again,
that's probably all going to be stuff within the first like 20 minutes of the film, which is wild.
That movie's going to add so much. We've got Guardians 3, that's going to be a whole time. That's going to be an entire buffet of things to feel and experience. The Marvels we know so little about. Like everything coming up in next year is really exciting. Like everything looks fun and dramatic, and it could hold like anything up its sleeves. Like we're in a really good place right now, having those things to look forward to.
Absolutely. That being said, I say we wrap things up right there. Call it a night. And then, like I had said earlier in the show, we will be back in 2 weeks because we're going to take next week off for Thanksgiving and all that good stuff. Eating lots of food. Be stuffed full. That being said, Melissa, where can the people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at WilkyWit. That's WILKYWIT. And listen to my other podcast, Saturday Morning Obscurities, show I do with my brother Jams about weird old kid shows you feel like only you remember.
There you go. You guys can find me at Yo Kyle Springer on Twitter. If you'd like to stay up to date with all of the stuff that we do here at the Whatnauts, we are at the Whatnauts on Twitter. So please go like, share, and subscribe. That would help us out a ton. You guys know the deal with all of that stuff. If you are watching the YouTube version of this, we got some more videos right over here for you to check out. That would help us out a ton. But yeah, this has been number 214 of the Whatnauts Captain's Log. We will see you all in 2 weeks. Go eat some good food, all that good stuff. We'll see you then. Bye.